Hello everybody and welcome to our Friday Live. Thank you for joining us today. We've got a really exciting schedule for today. So we are celebrating the Taste of London. So that's an event held in London celebrating food. And as you probably gathered, especially for those of you who have watched us on previous occasions, we are real foodies here at Triangle Nursery. So we grabbed the opportunity to celebrate the Taste of London. And we're going to create a watermelon out of flowers. How about that? Who knew? So yeah, it doesn't involve alcohol or chocolate or cake this time. So we're going for the healthy option.
Absolutely.
So for those of you who've not watched us before, I'm Debbie. I tend to be this side of the camera with all the hand expressions, as I've been told I do quite wildly. And then my colleague behind the camera is Laura. So you'll hear her voice.
Hi there.
So yeah. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you really enjoy what we're going to do for you. So ingredients wise, the flowers that I'm using today are spray chrysanthemum code. You could also use feeling green, very similar. Spray chrysanthemum white stallion. The foliage I'm using is hard Ruscus. And we've got this rather funky dyed Craspedia. So that comes in all sorts of colours and actually quite effective. Kind of a love or hate relationship with the dyed Craspedia when it first started coming in, but we used to get really vibrant colours. Now kind of a little bit more natural, some of them, so they actually blend really well. We had silver in the other week for a silver and white and pink wedding and it was really nice. So yeah, so that's our dyed Craspedia. As far as sundry items are going and the florist box I'm using, we've got a 20 centimetre wet sphere here, which I have soaked, placed on this little dish and cut a watermelon shape out. My equipment I'm using are trusty scissors. I've got some florist pins here and for the moment I think that's pretty much all I need, but I have got my florist box handy should I need it.
So just to let you know, we're going to go into the arrangement, so you won't see Debbie's face, unfortunately, as you all like to see. So you can all have a close-up of the arrangement that we're going to be doing today. If you have any questions throughout the arrangement, don't hesitate to ask. We are always here to answer your questions. And don't forget to like us and share us with your friends.
So because today's demonstration is a little bit involved, a bit time consuming, I didn't want you all falling asleep over your cups of coffee, so I've done a little bit of preparation. So I've cut some of the stems off ready. So with the chrysanths, it's literally just cut the stems off, about 2.5 centimetres I would say. I am actually cutting these straight. Usually I recommend you cut at an angle. Because these are really strong, sturdy stems, they're going to go into the oasis really easily. So that's literally all I've done. With the hard Ruscus, I've literally just pulled the leaves off the stem one by one. So really simple. Repeated exactly the same with the white stallion, literally cut those off, and the same with the Craspedia, really short. So away we go. So I'm going to start with my little white stallion.
So what we have done is, just because you literally, when you receive the spheres, the wet foam, it just comes as a ball. There's no scribing on it?
Yeah, there's no
any like pattern or anything on the ball. So we've literally, with our fingers, or you can do it with a pen or a knife, just put the pattern to make it a little bit easier for you whilst you're making up the arrangement, just to give you a guide really. So that's what we've done. If you can see any lines or random lines on the ball, that's just
me guiding myself.
Guiding yourself. Perfect. So you're starting with the stallion.
I have started with the stallion. The reason why I'm doing the stallion first is because it's quite tiny. It's a smaller head. So I want to get that in first so I can then gauge how big I need to go with the other flowers, or how far out I need to go, if you get what I mean.
Absolutely.
So So what I'm doing when I'm placing the next bloom in, I gently lift the previous and place in the next one. Then theoretically you don't get any gaps. So gently lifting the previous flower, whoops, and placing in the next. Then that way they tuck in really nicely next to each other. And like I say, theoretically you don't get any gaps. Stallion are quite an interesting little bloom, because you've almost got a pin cushion there with almost a daisy effect of petals around the outside. So it's not completely round, not like your code. So hence by lifting those little outside petals, you do just get them so that they fit together edge to edge quite happily.
The Stallion though, you do get quite a lot of heads per stem, don't you, in comparison to...
Huge amount of heads per stem, yeah.
Say the code green. I know on the code green anyway, you do get quite a lot of heads per stem.
With the Stallion though, it is very, very much grade driven. You can buy so many different grades with the Stallion. By grade I mean weightage. So if you buy like a 75 gram compared to a 60 gram, your 75 gram is going to have so many more stems or heads on than the 60. So sometimes, I mean, it does very much depend on what you're creating, but sometimes it is more cost effective to buy that better grade and you get more flower for your money, really.
Is there any other type of flower that you could use to create this definition?
You need to go with something quite small. You could use one of the Santini spray chrysanthemums, that would work quite nicely. Again, you get several heads per stem. The Santini are just the same as a spray chrysanthemum, only that much smaller headed.
Could you use anything like the Tanacetum, you know, the Bayer? That's got quite a...
You could.
Round.
The only thing I would say with Tanacetum is the stems are very, very weak. So that's fine if you're using them en masse as a group, but if you're putting a single bloom in, it's going to be really time consuming. You might end up having to wire quite a lot of them as well. So yeah, I personally wouldn't use Tanacetum for basing.
Okay. Because they have the similar shape to, say, the Stallion that you've got here.
They do, absolutely they do. Yeah, the stems, as I say though, the stems do tend to be that little bit softer. They're a more rustic flower, I guess, really. Now, I don't know if you can see, I'm just gradually getting down to the bottom there. Just, I can't do it. I'm going to try and do it away from myself so everybody could see it, but I'm going to have to, no, that one's not strong enough. That's better. Now, there is a bit of a knack to actually using all of your fingers, because sometimes you need to hold one flower out of the way while you use your other two fingers to push a stem in. So it kind of comes with a bit of experience, really, that one. So now I'm going to use my little Crasies, my Craspedias, to give the inside of the watermelon. I turn that round so you can see. Now I'm pushing that in quite deep, because you don't want it to stand out too far above the Stallion.
So naturally, Craspedia are yellow.
They are indeed.
And they're so popular, especially at this time of year for weddings, events, just to add that really nice pop of yellow to arrangements. But yeah, as Debbie's using today, we've got the red, and there's so many different colours available.
And yeah, really nice hard stem as well. I mean, kept that one quite long, but you can see how easily it goes down into the oasis. I'm just going to swing that round so I can get a nice point.
The thing as well with Craspedia, they actually dry quite nicely. I've got some at my home, just in the kitchen really, but they've dried really lovely.
They do dry well, yeah. And if you get them to dry, you can then spray them at Christmas time, gold and what have you, and put them in Christmas decorations. So they're a really, really usable flower, really. They're very, very cost effective as well. I think some of them are about sort of 24, 26 pence a stem at the moment.
Really good value for money at the moment.
So it makes sense if you are going to just buy them literally to dry, get them now while they're really cheap. You can actually hear them going into their races, can't you? I'm going as quickly as I can so that people don't get bored with watching.
Absolutely fine.
It's a bit repetitive, this bit.
It is, but it's sometimes fascinating to watch just someone doing an arrangement. I think a lot of our followers just always watch as opposed to ask questions, just purely for that reason.
I do sometimes think, well, perhaps I'm out here on my own. we don't always get people asking questions, so we like it when people ask questions and tell us what they're doing as well and share with what we're doing.
It would be interesting to know if anyone watching has done a watermelon before, and if you have, make sure you send us your photographs. We absolutely love seeing what other people have done for other types of arrangements, especially these bespoke, I would say funeral arrangements, but the bespoke arrangements with floral foam. It's fascinating to see what people have done in the past.
It really is, yeah, it really is. And as I've said on previous broadcasts that we've done, every day is a school day. We love to learn what other people are doing, and we can pick up from tips and hints that you give us as well. It's a two-way thing.
Absolutely. One of our colleagues has done Dennis the Menace. She's done Cadbury chocolate bar. So many different things that you can make with floral foam.
I've done I think one of the most difficult ones I ever did was a Triumph Bonneville with a leopard print seat. That was,
I don't remember you saying about that actually.
That was a really, I think it took us 2 days to do.
Wow.
With the help of a biker friend giving me instructions on what was supposed to go where, because I have no idea about motorbikes. So you can see gradually there we're building up.
It's also actually quite nice to see you using a different flower variety other than just chrysanthemums. Because I suppose if you did use chrysanthemums, you could spray them.
Absolutely you could, yeah, you could. I have to say Craspedia is a lot more forgiving than chrysanths. If you kind of like accidentally press onto it, they stay complete. If you did that to the coat, they'd just smash to smithereens. So yeah. So I'm now going to move on to the hard Ruscus, but just before I go on to that, just to show you, I've just popped into the natural gaps that are between the Craspedia, because they're so literally spherical, you kind of get a little natural gap in between. So I've popped some little Diamante sparkly black pins in between the natural gaps. So moving on to the hard Ruscus. So the leaves have all been separated, and I'm just going to pin those onto the oasis.
What type of pins are you using there, Debs?
Oh, these are just a floristry steel pin. The sort of pin that you'd use, you know, common garden pin you'd use like for buttonholes really. Just 2-inch pins, steel pins, can you see that?
Yeah.
Because you're not focusing on my face today, I can't actually gauge what you're looking at.
It's okay.
Probably a good thing.
And could you use, say, something like a mossing pin, or would that be just a little bit too big?
The only thing is with mossing pins, they're quite long width-wise, so it's almost like using a staple. You could use them, but you just would need to make sure that you kind of cover up the piece of steel, really. Now you can add the pins to the very edge if you wish to, because when we put the chrysanthemum in, they will come up to the edges of the leaves. So if I just show you what I've created there and swing that back again.
Again, what I was mentioning earlier, it's really nice to see that the different details that you can create with such a simple idea without having to use chrysanthemums to base.
Definitely. I have to say the leaves pinned in flat do give a different texture, and a different sort of shape and what have you.
And to be fair, probably quite cost effective, because realistically we haven't used a huge amount of stems.
Just used
so
two stems.
Two stems, and it's given you quite a lot of I was going to say leafage.
Leafage, yeah.
Leafage.
Leafage works for me. I know exactly what you mean by leafage.
So one thing, everyone, that you have to kind of be aware of with the Craspedia, I'm sure you can see Deb's fingers have gone a little bit red, pinky colour. So obviously they are dyed, and you can see that on the stems. So you will just have to, it's probably a good idea to maybe wear gloves if you're working with them. I know, Debs, we forgot, it's fine. Just so that you don't get any colour on your hands.
Especially if you're going out for dinner tomorrow, the same night that you're making it up. Not a good look. Still, look at it as a positive. You don't have to have your nails done.
Sort of, just the other way round, Debs.
Yeah.
If it works.
I'm going to just do another couple of leaves up this way, but I think you kind of get the message on how the design is taking shape. See the pins there. Let's move that down a bit. That's better.
So with this, we've got the larger leaf here. Is there any other greenery that you could possibly use to create a similar effect?
Yeah, definitely. You could use flat wavy leaves. Any leaf that's flat really, and it's got a reasonable surface area. Ivy leaves would work.
The only thing really, I was thinking like things like Aspidistra, but they are quite big. Is there a chance you'd be able to cut them to size, or?
You could literally cut the shape out that you wanted,
Yeah.
and lay it in pin. The only thing is, because you've got such a curve going on there, you're almost going to have to pleat it if you want it to lay flat. Hence why if you use separate ones, you do get that definition a little bit better.
And to be fair, you get a lovely texture happening.
Yeah. Now, you can see I've got almost a natural edge there. So I'm now going to start building up with my lovely code. We're all a bit of a fan here of code and feeling green. They kind of go with anything. Just remove those little leaves. Now what I've done there is I've put the edge of the code against the edge of the Stallion, just so you get a nice clean line. And gradually building those up. I'm cherry picking, as you probably noticed, the sizes and shapes that I want. It's a natural florist thing, that cherry picking.
I think you have to, don't you?
You do to a certain extent.
So I can see there you've used a slightly smaller one. Is that because you want slightly more definition to the corner of the design?
Exactly why. Oh, just bent that one. Let's try that again. Have to wire that one. Excuse me while I disappear for a while.
So while Debs is doing that, make sure you ask any questions. We're more than happy to answer as much as we possibly can, of course. I suppose there's a limit.
We don't know everything.
We wish we did, but we don't. I don't think anyone knows everything.
We're still learning.
Absolutely. So yeah, ask any questions that you would like, say about this arrangement or anything you've got coming up, especially with any tribute work.
I was a bit heavy-handed on that one as well, so I'm just gently internally wiring it. There we go.
So you're just using a green stub wire, or is it a rose wire that you're using?
I was just using a green stub wire. It was a little bit heavy for it really, but it worked. Yeah, you wouldn't really need to use as heavy a wire as that really. A silver stub wire would be absolutely fine, but as I said, because I didn't actually get any silver stub wires ready.
Silver rose wire, do you mean?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, silver
okay.
rose wire. Sorry.
It's all right.
Near the end of the day, I think. Well, it's not. We've still got half a day to go. It's been a long day so far.
It's that time of year. It's just so busy in the summer.
So many inquiries and weddings. It's really good, but full on.
Full on, yeah.
Now you can see I'm gradually building up the edge.
It's really taking shape now.
You're starting to be able to see what it is.
Yeah.
Can you see what it is yet?
Yeah. Can you guess what it is?
Oh, just move that leaf out slightly. It's being a little bit persistently protruding there. Okay, so we go back to our leaves, and now I'm going to follow the line coming up this way a little bit more. I'm going to gradually create a line against the top of the leaves going in this direction. I've just spotted I have a pin showing there. Now I'm just going to remove that and tuck that under there so you can't see it. And then gradually putting the rest of the code.
So are you using the slightly larger code green there?
I'm actually using the larger ones to the sort of central body of the melon, and then as we go to the outer edges I'm using the smaller ones, so you've almost got like a gradient going up there.
Yeah, you can see that.
Just tuck him down. So as you work your way through, you can remove some of the pins if you need to, because the code will actually hold those leaves into position. And again, just lifting one flower up to tuck the new one under. These are very soft, poor little beasties. Oh, no. Let's find another one. That was better. Oh, that's because I'm trying to put it through a leaf rather than into the oasis. No wonder it wasn't happy. There we go. So you can see how we started off getting that shape. And then just repeat the same process underneath. So starting with that.
So clearly it's just about repetition now. We've done the main elements and we've just got to repeat across the whole melon.
I'm afraid it is. Got the boring bit now. To be honest, that is the way with based arrangements, really. Once you've got your lines in position, it is repetition until you've completed, really.
It's looking amazing though. I'm looking forward to seeing the end result.
But not necessarily eating it.
No, not on this occasion.
Ooh, nice watermelon and feta cheese salad.
Ooh, now you're talking. Watermelon juice? Have you had that?
Yeah, I have actually. Very nice. Very nice. Very cooling.
All we need is a bit of sunshine.
Don't start me off on the weather. It's my favourite subject.
The last few weeks have been
Rubbish.
ridiculous, haven't they?
Absolute
Rain
rubbish.
everywhere. There's floods in some places. It's crazy.
Well,
It's more like April showers as opposed to June showers.
well, honestly, I walked my dog the other morning across the fields and it absolutely felt like winter. It really did. So to finish, you obviously need to fill in the back. I haven't actually done that today due to time constraints. Don't want our viewers falling asleep. So it's just literally repeating the process. You've seen how I've achieved that size, just do completely exactly the same around the back. And just to emphasize that it is a watermelon, I've made a little slice that I've stood against the side of it. Thank you so much for watching us today. I hope you've enjoyed our food inspired arrangement. We've really enjoyed doing it today. It's nice to do something a little bit different. Don't forget to share us and like us, and obviously keep those questions coming, because we'll try and answer them as best we can. And thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now.